guarantee a championship. That is the only way you pull that trigger, is that you all looked at each other and said, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, no defense, no future. Championship. Yep, championship. Yep, that's a championship. I wish I could do a New Zealand accent. Oi. Championship on the Barbie? Okay, that's horrible. Nets fans, every one of y'all know my gripes. Everyone knows what I've said from the beginning. Every one of y'all knows what I've been angry about from the beginning. I've said it a million times. We are a competent power forward away from being really good. And I'm talking a pre-Kyrie, pre-KD Nets. If they had ever had a power forward like, say, I don't know, Aaron Gordon, who could have been had, they would have been a much better team. You put Aaron Gordon even next to DeAndre Jordan. This is a different team. Then you could let all your other little piggies just shoot their heart's desire out of the basketball. Then the superstars can be the superstars. The superstars should not make shots or call shots, because the superstars are a fish inside the fishbowl. They are looking out. They are only seeing the fishbowl from the perspective that they're looking out of it. He doesn't know that part of the reason why all the teams he's ever played with are great is because he had Ibaka and Roberson playing defense for him. He doesn't know that the reason why he played on championships in Golden State was because Draymond Green and Klay Thompson was playing defense for him. He doesn't know that. Kyrie just sees how he just humiliates players, how he just literally just shits on them. That's what Kyrie sees. He sees the ball going in time and time and time again, that he's unstoppable, that he's invincible. That's how he feels. That's the way his mind processes the game. And he says, you know what? Go get me another dude that could do what I could do, and we'll win everything. And that's wrong. In Cleveland, he had Kevin Love. He had Thompson. He had bruisers behind him that played defense. Even though we saw J.R. Smith chucking ball, J.R. Smith wasn't really out there for that. He was out there to play defense so that Kyrie can score, so that Korver can shoot, so that there's balance on the team. The Nets right now are a lopsided mess. They're a lopsided mess, and I don't care what any of y'all say. You could be mad at me. You could say, oh, you're a fool. I hate your podcast. I hate you, man. You say these crazy things. You don't know anything. Dude, the reality is, Sean Marks has never won as many games as Billy King. And right now, the Nets' record is the same as the New York Knicks. What a cruel joke this would be if we traded away all these players that we love, and the team's defense is so bad that our record doesn't really improve. That we get bounced in the second round Lord forbid, the first round. Because of this ridiculous concept that you could win basketball games by strictly playing defense. And don't get me wrong. Do not get it twisted. I'm still going to talk my shit. I still believe that in my heart of hearts that it's our time. But Nets family, we have to get our minds right. I haven't talked much about the game because the game is irrelevant. The game is a huge warning flag to stop what you're doing right now, Sean Marks. To put a break on whatever's going on in that front office. And recognize your team is too small. Your philosophy is flawed. I know it's a cliche. Oh, you can't win championships without defense. No, you can't barely win without defense. Forget about the playoffs. The Nets went from being a team of, and we weren't even an athletic team either. We needed athletes back then. But now the Nets are old. They're starting Jeff Green and DeAndre Jordan. Oh my God. If someone came to me in the preseason and said to me, Eve, at some point, the Nets will be starting. They'll have another superstar. We're not going to tell you who the superstar is. But the Nets will be starting Jeff Green and DeAndre Jordan. If you just told me that, I would faint it. I would fall on the floor. There was Nets fans that thought, oh, if we put Bruce Brown back into this. Me and Bam argued back and forth. He's past first now. We argued back and forth. But he didn't come on tonight, so expect Bam on the weekend. Expect me and Bam to do our Skip Bayless and Stephen A. or Shannon or insert whatever Negro for me. But we argued because he wants to hang this around Nash's neck. I refuse. I refuse because the roster issues are so much more glaring that it doesn't make sense to even bring up coaching adjustments, timeouts. What is he going to say? What is Nash going to tell these people? Joe Harris, we need you to grow 5 inches. James Harden, I know you're a shooting guard who's used to playing with P.J. Tucker, Clint Capella, Robert Covington. Great defenders that allow you to be great. We don't have those players on this fucking team. It's disrespectful for us to even be going, you know what, Steve Nash, you should have put Bruce Brown in the game instead to cut. These guys can't cover these young players, not even with Bruce Brown. If you put Bruce Brown in, guess what? You stop scoring. They had to keep scoring because they couldn't stop them. The Nets roster is an NBA 2K roster. Fine. We made that mistake already. I'm not going to sit here and cry and bitch and moan, because at this moment, I look right. It doesn't matter. I want to win a championship. I don't want to be right on because some shit I said on Twitter. I don't care about that. I want this team to win it all. And there's no, in the moment you have players making decisions, you're basically letting them interpret the game in a perspective that they don't have. You're supposed to look at Kevin Durant and say, if I go get Kyrie Irving, who is going to play defense for you? Who is going to grab rebounds for you? If I give DeAndre Jordan and he can't jump no more, how is that helping you, Kevin? But they gave the players whatever they want, and I hope that's not true. I'm one of those people that tries to refuse to believe that that's not true. But if that's how the Nets built this team, based on recommendation of one player or even two, then we don't have any shot. So only thing I could affect is Nets Twitter. And I don't really even affect that because I'm nobody on that. I'm probably the most hated person. Thank God for Sam adding to our likability score. But I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I'm not going to sit here and try to say, oh, it's all of these complicated things. No. The Cleveland Cavaliers had 63 points in the paint. Okay? 60. I got to check that again. Because it's scary to believe that this could be true. I'm hoping. No. It's 100% true. It's 100% ugly truth. The drum I've been beating all summer. For 3 years now, I've been pissed off about these power forward signings. I've been pissed off and yelling. The first year was all right. Because I got it, these were some players that we had to acquire because, we were getting a draft pick, whatever it may be. But then we signed Jared Dudley. Matter of fact, he came in a trade and we didn't cut him. Fine. Some of you guys believe he was great locker room presence, whatever. But that year we also signed Travion Graham, a guard, to start at power forward. Sean Marks signed that player. That was his plan. Then we got Taurean Prince. We could have cut him, kept him moving. No. We signed him to be our power forward. Tonight, and I'll go ahead and do my stat that told the story of the game. Let's not talk about timeouts. Let's not talk about turnovers and half the turnovers happen